Hello, and welcome to Maury's Golden Hour. And happy 2/21/21. Woo, 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 woo. It is National Sticky Bun Day. Yes, I had something sticky earlier, and I have buns, so I'm celebrating it. But yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out and listening to me ramble on. I do appreciate that, really, I do. And I know that there are plenty of far more fascinating people out there to listen to. People that are famous, people that are not, people that are highly, highly educated and have 1,000 different degrees and numbers and things backing their name. So I do really, really appreciate this. So without further ado, I guess let me kind of get in here and dig in. I will do my best to keep everything short because I feel like I really ran on rather long with the last couple of podcasts. So if you listen to everything from beginning to end, God love you. Thank you so much. So I'll keep this short. What did I want to... So I thought that there would be more to this, with Fleetwood Mac being at the Richfield Coliseum, which is this concert venue that is in Richfield, Ohio. It is south of Cleveland by like maybe an hour, give or take, and a huge, huge venue where a lot of big concerts were performed, and I believe the Cleveland Cavaliers played there at some point. I can't remember when they stopped playing. I think as soon as they had the big arena built, the one that they're playing in now, I think that's when they stopped. I think. I could be wrong about that. So I don't know what the significance is of their performance at the Richfield Coliseum. Maybe it was a particular song that I heard played that was live, and the DJ mentioned that this was recorded at the Cleveland or the Richfield Coliseum and something historic. So I could be missing something in the information there, but all that I know, let's see, Richfield Coliseum torn down in 1999, and it is now a sort of nature preserve, I believe. And as for Fleetwood Mac, I guess I don't really need to go much into that, but they had a show there May 21st in 1980, and I believe, I guess, I don't know if they recorded the whole show or it's just a couple of songs were recorded, not too sure, but what I did come across is how grueling a tour that thing was, and I was looking at the tour dates for Tusk, and they were all over the world, and looked like they toured that particular tour for almost a year, pretty much. I think they started in October, they ended in September, and so it didn't go quite till like the end of September, and I don't know if it started at the beginning of October. I think it started at the beginning of October, and then went until like the beginning of September or mid-September. And with the exception of maybe occasional months here and there where it looked like they didn't tour at all for, like, let's say the month of January. Who knows that within that month, I'm sure they were doing some press along with maybe having some downtime. I don't know, but it really did look like a grueling tour, and I can see where that would have an effect on somebody, because I've only had small stints of being on a tour, and it was enough. It was somewhat at that pace of what they were doing, where you're every single night you're in a different city. So it can be fun for a minute, and it also, I think your fun level is determined by what your position is with the tour, or what your role is with the tour. Obviously, if you're the star, that's going to allow for a different experience compared to if you're the roadie, or anything else. So, anyway, wow. And then what was the other thing I came across? That there wasn't a National Hockey League in Cleveland. And I wasn't I mean, I am aware of that, but it just didn't quite hit me that, oh, yeah, there isn't any NHL there. And I think it's because there's so many other winter sports and other winter things going on that I just never noticed it. And like, I think when I was reading about that, the reasoning why Cleveland doesn't have an NHL team is because there's already like 3 different major league sports in that one town. So, like, you know, they already have baseball, basketball, and football covered. So they're not going to also have a hockey team. But apparently from 1976 to 1978, there were the Cleveland Barons. That was the hockey team at that time. And I can't remember if they got moved someplace else and became another name, which I think that might have been the case. But yeah, no NHL. So, there we go. And then, and the other thing too is that for NHL, I guess because Pittsburgh is so close, there's that NHL team, and then there was also another team that was mentioned that was also like nearby, that it's like, oh, well, they can kind of like get their fix by, you know, with nearby NHL teams. I don't know if that one was like for Detroit or if it's someplace else. Anyway, but no NHL in Cleveland, nor will there ever be. Let's see, what else? I think, mentioned I would talk about Salt Lake City. I don't want to talk about that this week because it's something I could save for another week, and I also want to try to keep this podcast short. I guess all I can say about that, I spent roughly a year in Salt Lake City working, and actually I was working on a couple of different shows. 3 different shows? 2? 3? No, I can't remember. But anyway, it was great. Like, I was put up in an artist loft that was downtown, and that was a cool space, and it was a cool area. I was just really, 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 really surprised at how much fun I had in Salt Lake City. I had a lot of fun on my own. I had a lot of fun with the people that I worked with. I carry some really cool memories from my time in that place, and it's, a lot of cool stuff. And you know what? Is there anything? You know what? I'll save it for next week. Sorry. I really just want to get through the other things that I wanted to bring up and share. I know myself. I know me. And I know that I will just babble and babble away if I start talking about Salt Lake City. So, hopefully next week is going to be a slow week. And I'll have a little bit more luxury to talk about it. Or, you know what? Tell you what. If I feel like I'm not going to go on too long with everything else, then I'll circle back and I'll talk about Salt Lake City. That's the compromise we'll make. Let's see. The other thing I think I mentioned I was going to put off until this week. So, I was dealing with just for lack of, there's no, like, easy way. I want to give her a nickname just to make this easier. I don't want to just label her as a racist lawyer, because she's not, like this evil tyrant or anything, but basically, a woman that came in for a meeting, and my coworker was playing New Orleans jazz, and I had been doing so for like a good couple weeks already. And I'm personally, I'm fine with it, and I'll never get tired of hearing it. And because along with that, you know, it's on Pandora, so it's not like it strictly just plays New Orleans jazz on the radio station like the whole entire time. It'll dip and get into the old crooners, and then, you know, back into the jazz again. So I like it. There's still a mix within that mix. So she came through and sat down. She was super early, like 30 minutes early, which, you know, I understand if you're trying to beat traffic and all that, but it's not like she lived all that far to begin with. And I get arriving someplace super early so you can avoid traffic, but I don't know if I would necessarily go to the establishment and sit there for like 30 minutes prior to the meeting. Like, personally, I don't know, especially if you can't, like, if you don't know the lay of the land, and then you go there and you're pretty much just sitting there staring at people in the lobby. I don't know, I just find that weird. 15 minutes ahead of time, maybe 10, but even then, it's like, I would just eat up that time doing other things and not being a bother to anybody else. But again, that's me, and I always make the mistake of thinking other people think the same way that I do. So this woman, she says, that I didn't fully listen to this because I was busy working on whatever my task was, and I was friendly, and I, when she walked in, said hello and just went on about my thing. And this woman made a comment to my coworker about the music. I think she said, I don't know if she was talking about the music that was playing, or if she had asked if it's okay for her to play her music. And I think my coworker said, well, we're playing New Orleans jazz. And the woman's like, oh, I don't like that. I don't know, she mentioned some music, some genres of music that weren't as interesting. And I'm not poo-pooing those other genres of music, but she was just exalting her tastes above what my coworker wanted to listen to and what my coworker was playing. And, everybody has their preference. I get that. But the way that she came off with this, it was very lofty. And she said, oh, well, I like listening to this and this and this. And she said, and then she had asked my coworker, is it okay if I play my music? And to me, I was thinking, well, that's weird. Like, why would you ask somebody? Like, because you're just going to be playing it for yourself. And my thinking is, if anybody's playing their music, they got their earbuds and they're playing their music for themselves and enjoying it. This woman proceeds to play some sort of like Irish jig music at kind of a high volume. And so, I don't know, I was like so stunned that she had the gall to just like, I don't like what you're playing, I like this, and oh, can I play my music? And then she played it, and loudly, and then she proceeded to like do some paperwork or something while she was sitting in this chair. I don't know if she was checking her notes, or I don't know what she was doing, but I was just kind of stunned into I couldn't even say anything, because personally I was stunned, but I was also busy working on something else. So then this woman can't be content to just sit there listening to her Irish jig music and minding her business and working on her work. Oh no, she had to get up and come over to my coworker, and I think, and also me, I mean, I wasn't, that much farther away, but she was talking loud enough, I guess, to include me in on this. And she asked, now, I don't know if she was specifically talking to my coworker or to me as well, but I was kind of like purposefully trying to ignore this woman because I was getting annoyed. And I didn't want to like say anything that would potentially get myself fired. So she says, she comes over playing her Irish jig music quite loudly, and she says, do you know what black and tan is? And my first go-to is like, oh yeah, it's quite delicious. I love having it anytime I've ever been to any pub, or, just whenever I'm in the mood and just feeling like surrounding myself by all things Irish. And she said, oh, it was something that was kind of offensive. And honestly, because I was tuning her out, and as soon as she like said this, I instantly saw red, and I just couldn't hear anything else she was saying beyond this. But she said something like, oh, it's not about African people, it's not what you think, or it was along those lines. And she said some other offensive things that was just completely tone deaf. And I remember giving her this look, like, to anybody else that had a flipping clue, they would have said, oh, like, I'm sorry, or like realize it, oh, maybe I said something I shouldn't have, or maybe they're upset about something and like either backpedaled or stopped talking or something. But she just was in her own world, and she was just all about sharing or spreading or shoving down her message and her interest on to other people, just shoving that down throats and ears. And I just tuned this woman out, and I just really focused on whatever it was that I was doing. And so then I didn't make any comment. I didn't even look that way. I just kept on doing what I was doing and gave her zero attention. And that's why I can't remember any of the wordage that she said, or verbiage, I should say. So this woman ended up like going into a different room, and actually at that time, I didn't realize that she went into a different room because my back was to her, and again, my focus was just so not on her at all whatsoever. And I kept on hearing the music, and then, I don't know, at some point, like the music, it was just kind of grating on my nerves, and I look around and I see that she went into a different room, but the music is so loud, like it sounded like she had turned up the volume, and she was still like in this main area with myself and my coworker. So luckily, this particular room that she went into, it has a door. So I got tired of it. I tried to breathe, think about what I was going to do or say. And so I took a beat, but then I'm like, you know what? No, screw this. And I went over there and I shut the door. I didn't even look at her. And as I was like shutting it, I didn't even look at her. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'll turn it down. And I just shut the door on her. my coworker ended up cracking up, and I didn't do it to be funny, and nor did I slam it, and I didn't have an attitude about it. I just didn't say anything, and I went back to what I was doing. And so then the woman, like, instead of just staying in the room and playing her music, which that obviously was making her happy, she had to come back out, and I think she turned it down or eventually turned it off. And then went on to say something about, oh, I'm sorry if you don't like the music, or it's not for everybody's taste, or, something like that. And again, she was just being, like, rather insulting. And normally it's like, all right, you can think what you want about me, whatever. And if you want to think I'm stupid or I'm not aware of things that are going on, fine. But there's something about this woman. I allowed her to just really grate on those particular buttons, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And so, I don't know, I said something to her that kind of like shut her down, and what was it, like, because she was just talking about the music. I'm like, no, I actually rather like the music, and I've worked with Michael Flatley, and I understand what that music is, and blah blah blah. And I just let her know you're not dealing with an idiot. So I was able to shut her down. And then I was able to easily, promptly ignore her, and she kind of went on about her business. But, man, I was just like, and just to deal with that. But in the end, I think her meeting was canceled, and she wasn't told about it. And so I had a nice little chat with her afterwards and made sure she went on about her way. And she stayed a lot longer than I expected her to. And I don't know if basically she's like, oh, this one is smart, and you wanted to keep on talking, or just to find out more about me or whatever. I don't know. But eventually she left, thank goodness. But, yeah, that happened, what was it, like before Valentine's Day, I think? It was that weekend. And time is just, whew. What else? Oh, so after I got over my food poisoning and all that, and I started, kind of getting on the mend, and I think it was like late Valentine's Day evening, I ended up having Prosecco and dark chocolates for lunch and dinner late at night, and because I was beginning to get my appetite back. And then my jokey analogy to other friends was that I was like, dining like a trust fund kid. And then I realized that really it was more of like along the lines of like the whimsy of Aunt Mame. And I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but I remember seeing that movie, and it's an old film, and I liken it to those like MGM films of that, that Technicolor film of that era. What was that? That was 50s, like late 50s, I think, or early 60s, but more in the 50s. And I just remember loving that movie as a kid growing up, and I wanted to so badly just have that cool life that was filled with all kinds of like great experiences all around the globe, and living in this like fabulous like 2-story penthouse like that has a grand staircase, and it's in Manhattan, and I don't know, it was just something that I thought of on Valentine's Day. And let's see, what else did I want to share? Again, I'll try to make this quick. I'm going to talk fast just so I can like... So, yesterday it was Kurt Cobain's birthday, apparently. And today I was thinking... yesterday. Well, it doesn't really matter. This weekend I was thinking... And even then, I never really understood why Nirvana was such, like, this huge deal. And, like, why they're made a big deal. Like, I always felt like they were overrated. And I know I'm probably going to get, like, the I don't know, torches and pitchforks on the street from villagers for saying that. But, yeah, I never understood why Nirvana was such this, like the zenith of grunge bands when there were so many others that were, like, a lot better. Like Soundgarden. Now, if Soundgarden had the same Nirvana treatment, that I would understand. And I know that Soundgarden also received their accolades, but I don't know, in a way I felt like they never got them on the same wavelength that Nirvana did. So, and then earlier this week I was listening to music, the radio, and the DJ was wishing Yoko Ono a happy birthday. And I don't remember which day it was, but so the DJ, he said that, and of course he made mention that, I don't know if he made a big mention out of Yoko Ono being John Lennon's wife, but he said that in honor of her birthday, he's going to play this track that featured Yoko Ono and John Lennon. And he said that, he'll, of course he's going to, play this piece in its entirety, and it's something, I forgot the exact length of time, but it's almost like 30 minutes. And so he said that, so it is a tribute to her birthday. He's going to play the entire work of hers. In its entirety, he's going to play like the full, like 28 minutes or, however long it was. And so we started playing, like, and I was like, oh, I don't really remember any of her music being like something that was that track. Like, I don't remember it being on any list of anything. Nor do I remember anybody ever playing it. Like, the most indie of radio stations, like, I personally have never heard it nowhere in the country. And so we started playing like the first, like, I don't know, like 20 to 30 seconds of it. And I gotta tell you, I was like stunned in horror. And like, I had a physical reaction of stunned horror. Like, and I was like in the middle of doing something, and I stopped what I was doing and just kind of like stared at the radio like, really? Are you really gonna play close to 30 minutes of this? And I was like, I don't know if I could take it, but then again, maybe it'll be interesting to hear what 30 minutes of this sounds like. Maybe. And I was like torn, and I was about ready to change the channel. And then the DJ, thankful he got on and said he was just joking. And so, it is like the best DJ prank ever, because he was doing that on what at least for me, like an unsuspecting audience. and I fell for it. And it was easy to fall for it, because this particular station, they would do something like that. They would actually play like something that might be odd and quirky and just play it to its entirety. Much like if you've ever listened to Henry Rollins' radio show on KCRW, he would do the same thing, and he has done that sort of thing before. So I fully believe it. So, oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't know if you can just do a basic search and find Yoko Ono, John Lennon, 30-minute song. You know, those are, I haven't tried it yet, but I mean, those are the words I think you can probably plug in to get the song that this particular DJ played, so you can hear what I'm talking about. And it's almost 30 minutes. I don't know if it's like 27 something, 28 something, or 29 something, but it's like, it's long, or at least according to the DJ. That's what he said. An article I came across, and there were many, but I feel it's like ones that are worth mentioning. This one was about the Cadbury Egg company and them having a commercial that features a same-sex kiss. And same-sex stuff, you know, I wasn't, like, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, clutching my pearls at that. It was the still image that I saw in this article, and I was looking at it because I thought, oh, is this like one of those MMA, you know, matches, or the UFC thing, you know, when they do those promo or the weigh-ins, and like both fighters are pretty much like right in each other's faces. That's what I thought this was when I glanced at it, and then I took a closer look, and I was like, ew. It was like I guess they like were kissing, and they cracked an egg, and like the egg has that goo in the middle, and so that was like strung between them. Basically, just looking at the still, I was like, ew, that's nasty. But I was also kind of clutching my pearls because I don't know, I just don't feel like stuff like that should be promoted for kids that are very, very impressionable. And kids are the ones who are, you know, looking at these commercials, like for candy, because candy it's primarily for kids. It's not that adults don't eat it, but, you know, by featuring a commercial for a candy, that's aimed towards kids. You know, you're also trying to get them roped into buying things too, or having their parents buy it for them. And yeah, I clutch my pearls, and yeah, I'll have this conservative, and if you want to think, prudish stance on some of that stuff, but I feel like kids are still developing. They're developing with their minds and their bodies, and they are very impressionable. They don't have the right frame of mind or the life skills and experiences in order to process a lot of the things that they hear and see. So a lot of these things, and especially when it comes to anything like sexual, like at least give them till 18. And, you know, really, overall, they're still not done developing until they're like, what, mid-20s maybe? And then for guys, maybe late 20s or early 30s as far as some of their mental development is concerned. And no, that's not a dig on males. I'm just speaking from the little bit of research that I've done and documentaries watched and things that I've read science-wise about how brains develop. So that's my pseudo-educated opinion. So, yeah, so boo on that. Oh, I know I mentioned this movie before, Mr. Soul, and that's Mr. Soul with an exclamation mark. And it's a documentary directed by Melissa Hayslip, who is the niece of the subject. Mr. Soul was a black produced black variety show in the 50s, 60s. Oh my gosh, and I should remember this, but I don't. But I did watch the documentary last month, and it's wonderful. And I'm so surprised, as deep into music as I go, and the things I like to learn and read and listen to, I'm very surprised that I've never heard of this show prior to hearing about this documentary and watching it myself last month. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame held a screening followed by a Q&A with Melissa Hayslip and one of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame curators and a moderator from, I'm not too sure where, Patti LaBelle, and also Verdine White from Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's the bassist that always dances around and has like the straight hair. So I just love it. I already saw the movie, but I didn't have a chance to watch this screening and the Q&A that followed it because I was busy working. However, I did find out, please go to Mr. Soul Movie, and I think from there you're able to somehow watch the movie. And I'm pretty sure you can watch it for free, and if not, you can stream it, and it's well worth the money to watch it. It really, really is. And the Q&A itself, this particular one that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame hosted, and that featured Patti LaBelle, Verdine White from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Melissa Hayslip, who is the director of the documentary, that you can find on YouTube. So check that out. I know I have that in my list to watch later. I can't wait to dig into it. Something I came across, I didn't know that this was a thing, but I guess so. So I happened to see in the parking garage this car, and it was only pointed out to me because I had to deal with like getting like a bill for an invoice, and the guy who was doing like security for that area was mentioning it, or I'm sorry, the manager for parking said, "Oh, yeah, you see that blah blah blah," and I'm like, no, I haven't, because I tend to be focused on my own driving, and so I'm not looking around that much and like looking at, ooh, look at that car, look at this vehicle. So because I had the time, I was able to go over there and check it out. And this thing, it's huge. Like, I felt like a tiny little, just very, basically I felt like I was standing next to the cavemen of cars, and like a huge, muscly, burly caveman. And actually, now that I say that, I'm kind of curious as to the person that drives it. Like, who is this dude? Because there are some vehicles, it's like, all right, that vehicle matches that person. Or other vehicles where it's like, oh, they're compensating for something. Or it's like, oh, that's cute, it fits their personality. So, but it's a USSV, I think it is, a Rhino GX. The thing is huge. So, this vehicle looks like the image of a dude playing soccer that is like all muscle, like just thick thighs, the abs, the arms, like everything. The dude looks tall, and he is fit and built, and he plays on some soccer team. And she sent me this image of him, like, I guess he was just dribbling. At least that's my thought. Or maybe he was in the middle of a game, I don't know. But it looks like, this vehicle looks like something that this dude could easily drive. And it wouldn't be small with him. Oof. But, yeah, I'd never heard of these things or seen them. And it looks like something that you would see, like, a foreign dignitary drive, maybe. Or something in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. Or Dubai. And, it's like, oh, we got money, we're just going to drive these around. And you easily could. But in Los Angeles, it's a bit much. What else? Ooh, so today I just randomly looking at videos, and I saw one for this marching band. Basically, they were walking out, and I think it's Edna Carr, EDNACARR. I'm pretty sure that's the spelling. I skipped ahead for something, or I hit a different button, and then I wasn't able to find it again. So, and I was being lazy, and I'm like, I'm not going to dig through it. But I swear, when a good marching band is, whether they're walking out, whether they're performing, like, or if they're competing, like, there's something about it when a good marching band, especially with the walkout, I just get really emotional, and I almost start tearing up. Like, in some cases, I will cry. it's just, I am proud. I am swelling with pride and emotion and just all that power. I'm just like, oh, it blows me away and it takes me back. And unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to attend and playing in a band that was worthy of competition. And I didn't go to a historically black college or a school, any school of color. So that would have been, I would have liked that, at least definitely for performing in the band. And I don't know where I would have stacked. My game definitely would have had to like lift up a lot joining an all-black band, because again, they don't play with anything. The competition is fierce and they expect a certain GPA. They expect excellence, and it shows. It shows in the stamina that they have, in the performing, all of it. And so that was just cool to watch. It just, oof. And I mean, it's why Grambling, oh, please forget about it. I lose it. And that was the reason why when Beyonce had her performance at Coachella, that opener, I'm just like, ooh. And it's not because of Beyonce, it's mainly the band and just that pride. And it's like, you know, doing like that step show and just all of it. I was down for it. And that is the part that makes me weepy watching that performance. It's mainly the marching band and just the pride in the work and the pride in the culture that show through. So, recent movie stuff that I came across, a couple things, and I didn't realize this. I was looking at one of those, what was it, like actors on actors interviews. I don't know why I clicked on it. I think it was because of Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya. Sorry, I pronounced that wrong. It was an interesting interview, or I guess clip. But Daniel Kaluuya, his latest film is Judas and the Black Messiah, which is about Fred Hampton, who was chairman in the Black Panther Illinois chapter. And I don't know much about Fred Hampton. The name sounds very, very familiar, so I can only imagine what tragedy or tragedies and atrocities happened around him and the name or that time, because his name sticks out. So, but it looks like it's pretty good, and turns out, I think, they filmed it in Cleveland. Tom Holland was the other actor who was part of this particular clip, and his latest film, it's called, Cherry, which is based off of a book that, and it's sort of an autobiography, I guess. I think it's a work of fiction, but not. And is written by this dude, who, I don't know if he's from Cleveland or if he's from other places, but he based himself in Cleveland. Anyway, they filmed this movie in Cleveland as well, and this one is about a less than stellar guy, who was in prison for robbing banks around Cleveland. So, but anyway, my whole thing about that is that both of these were filmed in Cleveland, and it's just yet another example of, you know, I leave the place and then they start springing up with these film opportunities. So, but hey, I'm happy that the city is getting an influx of money somehow. What's the other one? Jodie Foster is in the Mauritanian. That one looks like it'll be pretty good. And it's not just because, it's Jodie Foster, but just the subject matter. It looks like it'll be one that's of interest. I think, if I remember correctly, it's about this particular man, true story, who was taken out of his home and questioned, and they held him in prison in Guantanamo. I don't know if he was ever found guilty of anything, but just from the trailer that I was looking at, I guess I don't know if they thought he knew something or he did know something, and so therefore they kept him in prison and they tortured him. But yet and still, this man, when he's released, has a very positive outlook on life. He's happy, he's positive, he's funny. So I guess it didn't break him, but I guess his reasoning behind that is his faith, and that is what kept him strong, I guess, and alive. So that'll be interesting to check out. Another one that I saw, sort of, and really, I was like looking at one of those clips. It's who was it? Two drag queens who like to watch. I think Katya and Trixie, and they were covering and watching a Netflix movie called I Care a Lot. Peter Dinklage is in it, and Rosalind Pike is in it. And wow, it is filled with drama. My jaw was dropping on the floor with the characters and the one-liners in it. And that was me just watching a reaction clip. So I can only imagine what it's like to watch this movie. It looks pretty intense. And because it's so intense, it's like, ugh. And it's very real. It's very raw. And you can just see this happening. And because of that, I don't know if I can watch it. But the acting in it looked like it was really good. And I know I've mentioned this before, but Soul is a movie that I'm looking forward to watching it whenever they release it, which I think is going to be in March. It'll be available to stream elsewhere besides Disney Plus. And plus, I'm a geek and I like to look at the DVD extras. So, yes, I'll still occasionally use Redbox, although I haven't used it in a while because I've just been busy. So, list of songs that I've come across, and I'll just boogie on through this. And then I'll try to wrap things up and save other things for next week. I don't know why this song. Well, alright, so I'll give the title of the song and then I'll give the band. Straight for This Life by Matchbox 20. I don't know why I chose that song. I don't know. Maybe I should just give it a listen. There's a reason why I'm like, ooh, who is this? What is this song about? Maybe there's a line that was in it. I don't know. I need to go back and revisit it. Dream a Little Dream of Me by Doris Day. I think that one sticks out. It's kind of haunting in a weird way. And I mean, it sounds nice and relaxing, but it's haunting. And I don't know. It's not like I'm like a huge Doris Day fan. It's not that I don't like her, but she's not my go-to or my easy go-to. But I don't know. It stuck with me for whatever reason. Black and Tan Fantasy, Louis Armstrong. Now this one, I have a very, very stark memory of this, but I don't know why. And I know that sounds weird. Like, I think it was pre-show music from a show that I did, but I can't remember which show. And I can't remember why. There was something about the feeling and the vibe of the show that we did, that this was used as pre-show music for. It'll come to me. I just need to sit with it for a while. I don't want to waste time in dead air by trying to think of it now. Let's see. Oh, Going Back to New Orleans. So basically the Matchbox 20 song, that one, I think I heard that one, let's say on Monday, and Tuesday, yeah, because it was Mardi Gras that Tuesday. So Dream a Little Dream of Me. So basically this next chunk of songs is from Mardi Gras. And Going Back to New Orleans, Dr. John. That one made me get that Zatarain's red beans and rice from the store, along with another Zatarain's thing and some other, like, New Orleans food to eat, which I didn't get a chance to eat until late that night. And I didn't even get to make the red beans and rice, so it lives in my pantry to live another day. Creole, which is spelled K-R-E-Y-O-L, by the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. Preservation Hall Jazz Band, they've been cranking out some tunes for some years now, and it's always a good listen for them. Yes We Can by Alan Toussaint. Yeah, no, it's Toussaint. That Yes We Can, that one. Everybody's Talking, Fred Neil. It has a very Americana, folky sound to it, and I'm there for it. Back Back in Ohio by Lucero. I guess I just was listening to it, or it stuck out to me, because I heard it last week along with this week, and I haven't had a chance to listen to the lyrics yet, but, I was like, oh, Ohio, just reminded me of home. Let's see. Oh, well, all right, so starting from the Back in Ohio song, that's no longer Mardi Gras. I think that's like on maybe Wednesday or Thursday. It kind of like jumped out at me. The Stars Are Ours, Mayor Hawthorne. It just makes me bop. I don't know, I like it. It makes me smile. Speaking of smile, Smile by Katy Perry. Heard that when I was in a store. And yeah, it's kind of poppy, but I kind of like it. It's interesting and has hopeful lyrics, and there was a particular lyric that stood out. I was like, ooh, that's a pretty decent bar. I like that. Bass Backwards by Kurt Vile. Interestingly enough, I don't know, it's kind of a little coincidental thing, and it's work related. But there was another little coincidental thing at work too, so I don't know. But that one stuck out, and it's like, oh, I don't know why I like it, just kind of do. It has like a very windy country road feel about it. So, and maybe the coincidental thing with Kurt Vile is like it's just kind of a reminder of home or something. I don't know. Because the Beatles, I've heard that song before. I think it was with a break in a Moon Boots set that he played. And I just like it. It has like a psychedelic, dreamy quality about it. Ooh, Freaking Out by Death. Now, I need to do more research into them because they sound very interesting and fascinating. And they, I believe, are a precursor to punk. And I know I'll probably get like the pitchforks and the torches and all that for saying that, but I believe so. Like, I think that they were like a prototype, actually. And there's a documentary that I need to watch. I think it's available on YouTube, and I just haven't gotten around to checking it out yet, but they're on my radar to check out. And unfortunately, I think they're still playing, but one of their founding members, they have since passed away. But I think he passed like in early 2000s, I think. And then see what else. Oh, I Know by Dion Ferris, who I also found out. She was one of the members of Arrested Development. The Arrested Development that did Tennessee. So when I heard that song, it's like I didn't recognize her name and I didn't recognize the title of the song. But as soon as it plays, like, oh my gosh, yeah, that song, I know it. And then my last song for the week, Isn't It a Pity by George Harrison. I don't know why I picked that one. It'll come to me, I guess, later, but I just did. There was like a huge George Harrison marathon that was playing yesterday, and that was one of the tunes that stuck out. Actually, a couple of them did, but alright, so that's it. I'm going to wrap up because I've been babbling on for a while. So, just want to say that, you know what, here is to another reset. And here's to a chance to try again and aim for better and to better the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I say that, to everybody or anybody who's listening, but also to myself, because I need to tell myself that, instead of like that mentally and maybe sometimes verbally putting myself down for not, taking care of a to-do list or not being as good as, smart as, all that other stuff. Just like, all right, you know what? Here we go. Let's try it again. That's all. Just get up and do it. Do it again. Try it again. And so I'm thankful that I do have a reset. And so here we go. Here's that reset. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I post videos up on the YouTube channel and stuff, and those are silly and goofy, and again, nothing that is going to bend your mind in any way. It's just what I like to call fluffy stuff. Like, I have fluffy videos and fluffy books that I read, so my stuff, it's just some fluffy stuff to do, to play in the background and keep you company while you're doing things. And, as much as you're doing it to, like, oh, I just need something fluffy, I'm also doing it on my end to keep myself sane, because, on occasion, I have my down days or my crazy intense days, and you wonder, why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? What's it all for? And you kind of spiral out a little bit. So this helps keeps me it helps to keep me grounded as well. So thank you. And with that, go off and enjoy your golden hour.